Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for making a time to be here. We're excited to provide the feedback, and we're very proud of you guys who have managed to go through the content and also able to actually complete the assignment and provide. We are here then to provide the feedback. I'm gonna do a check-in before we go through the content. I will start with Bandla. Bandla, please go ahead. Bandla, I think you are speaking. You need to unmute yourself first.
Yes, okay, Precious, good afternoon. There's nothing much I've done, to be quite honest. I haven't submitted the assignments. I did read a bit, but not fully. Only now we are having a break, I'll be able to do most of the stuff.
No problem. Just remember, Bandla, I am going to be available, but also the approach has been, we will go through the content by block. So we did last time the feedback. So maybe listen also to the feedback so that you don't repeat the same mistake. But also you have until the 31st of January to submit everything.
Okay, super.
Perfect. So please enjoy the session. But if you have the questions on what you have read already, please post those. Our target for today is to deal with everything relating to the strategy. Thank you so much for taking in. I will then move to System Bisa. Hi.
Hi, P, how are you? How's everybody?
We're good.
Sorry, I'm mobile again.
You're awake, man.
Okay. Good afternoon, Sis. Maybe we will.
Yes, I am mobile.
No. Again, no problem. We'll talk.
I just dropped yes. I'll listen. And then WhatsApp, SMS.
No, once we are in a space where you can talk, just give us a notification on the chat box.
Okay, will do.
Okay, so Norman and Tembisa are only gonna be on mute for now, and then I will move to Luluama and then Selby and Usmangel. Luluama, Sisi, how are you? Oh, you're also on the road. Okay. Okay. But Luluama, can you check in or you can't check in?
Did they get it? I want to reach this morning.
Luluama, can you check in or you can't? Okay, we assume Luluama can't. I will then move to Selby and then Smangele. Selby, how are you? How have you been?
Hi, hello, how are you?
We're good, my brother. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. And yeah, to everyone in the class.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. And how are you doing?
We are good, amazing. How is it going with the work? How far have you finished? Are you struggling to finish? Are you working towards for the feedback?
Yeah, I received the entrepreneur profile. So I don't know if do we have like some private meeting to discuss that?
Nangu Selby, a private consultation. Selby, can you afford the 3,500 per hour?
No, I mean like in the program, like regarding the report.
No problem. It's really, it was not budgeted for, but I have seen that I think it is required, so we'll make a plan.
I will thank you.
No problem, Selby. My network is not stable, guys. I think I'm getting kicked out by the system.
Oh, okay. Sorry
Hang on
for
a
that.
second. Hang on a second. Yeah, it's not stable, but Selby, have you submitted everything to date?
Not yet. I submitted only two. It's the one I struggled with finding the format and also, yeah, kind of. So now since we've got the format and everything and the template, we'll hear on it.
No problem. So you've got everything now. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, yes.
Smangele, hi. Checking in, how are you doing? Any progress? Where you stuck? Just remember to unmute yourself. Smart, unmute yourself. Okay, I don't think she can hear us or be able to see because she's not muting. I will then move to Dakola. How are you? Oh, we lost him. He doesn't have, Dakola is struggling with the network. I think he has logged at least 3 times. It keeps on kicking him out. Ish, guys, we are struggling with the internet in South Africa. Yeah. Stable network is a problem. Okay, I will then move. Seems like I've actually even lost the next person because of the network. No problem. We will proceed. You can't unmute. Huh? Okay, type it, Smangel. If you can hear me, don't exit, rather type than your comments. I was just checking in on how you guys are doing. And Denise, you will read for me once she has it typed. Can I then, Norman, are you able to talk now?
Hi, I'm a few minutes, just 2 minutes away from the office.
Okay.
I just need to upload stock. So once I'm in the office, I'll call you. But I'm still in. I can hear you.
Okay, sure, perfect, thank you. Denise, can you confirm that the current participant other than Bandla have submitted? In terms of admin, thank you. Okay, in the meanwhile, can I take the questions then? To those that are here, may I take the questions? I'm just accepting the few more people that are joining now.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Yeah, I've got a question here. Remember what I sent you on WhatsApp, the digital badge?
Yeah.
Yeah, what does it really mean? Does it really mean, because I completed a course, they gave me an online certificate and a digital badge. So does it really mean they are my supporting partner or what?
So Selby, first of all, I saw your certificate.
Yeah.
But remember, I'm seeing the certificate. I did not see the learning objectives, but also why did you sign up for that course?
That course, it's a data science. It's an introduction to data science. So
Yes.
currently, data science, it's one of the highly demanded skills, and there's shortage of that.
Okay, so how does that relate to your business?
As a consultant, remember I've got a consulting on the side. So the consulting is the one that is doing the project for a fresh produce.
So what I'm trying to say, the question you're asking, I can't answer that for you because I don't know what made you to attend the stuff, but also what value will that course bring into your current business?
Oh yeah, what happens is you enter.
And before you answer, Self, ask the question again that you are trying to get the answer for, but also keep in mind the responses that I've just given you.
Okay. No, I just wanted to hear like your view in terms of that, because that's my first time experiencing receiving.
Selby, I will never be able to give you any feedback on any course, irrespective of who has provided, because any course that you attend, you must have had a specific objective why you attended it. And number two, it must have a value into your business. And number three, I don't know what you took out of it for me to assist you. So I can't help you.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was interesting that you had done that. That's why I said great, because really that's all I could say. I can't give it a positive or a good. I was just glad that you started something and you finished it. And that's a good habit, to always finish what you start. And I think you do have that, that tenacity and also consistency and persistent. And that is a good thing.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay, sure.
Right.
Joseph, Salome, we were just checking in, and hello, Lebogang. I saw you were struggling to start to get in. Let me start with you then, Lebogang. How are you doing? Is anything that you need support in? Denise, I hope you are seeing the comments on the box. Would you please also, you're gonna share the templates and stuff where they need some feedback on templates, okay? Let's start with Lebogang.
Hi, mommy.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, how are you doing? We're just checking in.
I'm not good at all.
What's happening?
Since I told you that I lost my apps in the phone, so everything got deleted. And then you said I should research. What was that? Fresh LSM.
Yeah, on your emails.
Yes, and then when I do that, like it give me something like sort of what it. I forgot what it said, but I will screenshot and send it to you through inbox.
Okay, would you please try to resolve the, so you're saying you don't have the content because you lost the gadgets that you were using?
Yes, the app that I used to save everything.
Oh.
Then it also deleted, yes.
Okay, may I request that you DM your email address to Denise so that Denise can or Mapote, so that Mapote can send you a new link to fresh link. Please note the fresh link does expire, so you need to do it immediately.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Okay. Who's next? Smangela, are you able to come through? Let's see. Okay, I will pass I will move to Salome. Oh, okay, there. Lebogang, Denise has included the Google Drive. She has included a link for you. If you are struggling with Fresh LSM, please take that Google Drive or click on it and download things.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Bandla.
Good afternoon again. Look, I've started my business in 2014. So basically now we're more than 7 years in operation.
Yeah.
And we are at a stage where we are actually growing to a certain degree. We've managed to see what we are good at, and we're trying to focus on that. But now, one of the challenges that I'm realizing is that as you grow, there are some challenges that I would say they are really linked to the growth. For example, you would have your personnel issues because now the company is starting to actually grow a bit bigger. And the expectation from the employees is that, you know, they must always see something coming their way. That's one. So in essence, the HR issues, they tend to grow a bit. And the payroll as well becomes a bit tricky to actually manage on your own. I know it's maybe this is a bit off from what you're talking about, which is the strategy. But you know, I'm trying to find the best growth strategy basically for my business in terms of protecting the growth itself. Because if I start increasing salaries too quickly, I will lose the leverage I actually had on the cash flow and all those kind of things. And as well, when it comes to
hang on, Mandla. I'm writing as you are talking, so you're talking a little bit too fast for me. Now,
okay.
The question that you are raising, man, is quite relevant for a strategy question, because we are basically saying, I have already created a business model on how my business is gonna grow, but I'm a little bit careful as to what is the right approach when it comes to human resources, which means human capital. How should I actually be building up a strategy that does not increase my fixed cost or my sunk cost of human resources cost without increasing and starting to reduce my cash flow? That's your question, right?
Exactly. That's my first question.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna make a follow-up. Within your human resources capital, if I were to analyze your budget, can you tell me for the products and services that you are offering, do you need professionals or do you need technicians?
Basically, mainly technicians, but at some stage, actually, early next year, I'm gonna need professionals also.
Okay, but majority of your payroll is technicians.
That's correct, yes.
How many technicians do you have?
For now, I've got 4 for now.
Okay.
But with the projects
Next
that we
year,
have,
when you're talking about professionals, how many professionals are you gonna need?
I think I think just 1.
Okay.
Maybe let me clarify a point in terms of professionals that I would need. When I say 1, I mean a technical professional, which is an engineer, for example.
That's fine. Professionals still falls in the same category.
Okay.
The professional. Okay. The technicians, they represent more than 60% of your payroll.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. the technicians that we have employed them full time.
Yes, although I am thinking of reviewing that also.
Okay, so let's talk about, when we talk about organizational capacity, I've already got your question on human capital. Can we move then to the next question?
Okay. The second question is basically regarding, again, I would say it's a strategy situation also. Protecting the entrepreneur from all the, especially the claims that can actually come your way. For example, technicians have got a way, because one of the biggest problems we have is that the technicians we get those that we can actually afford, not the best. And in some cases, these ones we can afford, they actually come with the baggages from their previous employment. And you would find that they start in the first month, second month, they're okay. Third month, you start seeing some problems. Now, you can either get
Bandla, please just bear with me. Remember, I can't see you to see that you are still talking, but for each point we have to talk and pause a bit so that it allows me to ask the question. So for this one,
okay.
Explain maybe to me, after 3 months, what has been those problems? Make a list of the top 3.
Okay. One, the timekeeping. You find that people, they start actually arriving to work late or leaving early.
Okay. Number 2.
Number 2, when it comes to the workmanship, because on our side, the work we do requires that we actually, in fact, the business, the way it's been positioned, it's been positioned to be superior in what we produce or in what we do.
Okay.
So
number 3.
Number 3, I would say it's, for example, you find people they are off sometimes.
So is that absenteeism without leave, or is that absconding?
Absenteeism without leave. And from the experience that I've actually had, the absenteeism without leave comes at a point when people, they feel they want to be out of the company, mainly because what we do, it's not easy. So basically, in most cases, people are challenged every day when they're at work. So at times I feel
wait. So where do you know what's the turnover of your industry? Staff turnover?
Of the industry? No, I don't. We are in the engineering sector, so I really don't. I don't know.
Okay, the industry that you are in, do you have professional body?
Yes, there is. Yes and no. Yes, there is. Yes.
Okay, do you have a seater?
There is a seater, that's correct.
Okay. Currently, what's your staff turnover average?
What do you mean by that?
How long do people stay in your firm?
I've got one guy that is
if you don't know the answer, rather not answer it, because when you have one guy, it's one guy out of how many at which level. So my suggestion for you, where you are not sure about the question, rather put that as one of the things you're gonna need to investigate, because there is a staff turnover at the industry level, and there is a staff turnover at your organization level. There is staff turnover at a local specific area. So when we are looking at a mobility of employees or people leaving your organization versus people coming in your organization, you gotta need to understand what then drives that mobility or that movement. And so that when you are building up strategies relating to retention and succession planning it's informed by understanding that trend.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing that you're gonna need to understand is the role of the professional board in your organization and the role of SETA in your organization. How many total staff complement do you have right now?
Now I've got 6.
How many?
I've got 6.
6.
Yes.
Okay.
After that is after the COVID.
Oh, yes. Okay. So this is the current staff. Okay, perfect. And in the next 12 months, you want to increase this, add a professional to be what? What's the total amount that you want to increase it to?
I want to have at least 12 by end of March next year.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, beginning of March next year.
Okay, perfect. Let me then, I think both questions that you have asked, they are linked together because they're still talking about human resources capital. What was the next question? I think you had another next question.
I think let me stick on the HR issues. I think I'm more interested on this point. You were in fact on that question you asked about the SETA was to be quite honest, the SETA and the professional bodies that are around, I'm not affiliated or I don't know anything about them, and I try to shun away from them, to be quite honest.
Okay, no problem. I will then assist you on seeing where the advantage is, but also how you will then approach them and what are you looking for when you're approaching them.
Okay, maybe one last question. Is it possible to actually have in your own opinion and from your own knowledge as well, to get shared services from an HR, shared HR services and shared payroll services?
The answer is no. But you are the service that you get from consultant is shared service. So if you go to individual consultant and ask them to provide you a quotation for human resources with the payroll, that is a shared service because you basically are only just paying for your own cost, but that cost is shared because they will have different team members working in your project, and also a company sharing its own resources. So it is a shared service. For the size of your business, I think I'm making notes now. I think there is certain way you can grow this, but I also think there's certain thing, the fundamentals that need to be fixed in your business. When we're talking about the strategy designing, I will then touch on this, especially on learning and growth, because on learning and growth on the strategy, that is where we're talking about organizational capacity. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that question.
Thanks.
I'm making notes right now. Who's next? Let's see. Salom. Okay, who's next? Salom, are you able to talk?
Hello.
Hi, dog. How are you?
I'm good, and how are you?
Yeah, Pila, sis.
Well, with me, it's not much. The only problem is regarding my customers. Like there's things like if there's like now, I have a challenge with my chickens. I received the customers' orders, but then I can't deliver in time because of nature. Like the chickens are dying. So
why are the chickens dying?
I don't know. It's I think it's maybe like this COVID or something. There's a sickness that is going on.
What
something.
do you mean it can't be COVID?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
And do you use the service of a vet?
Yes, and I can't get hold of one. I was told that he went for a vacation or something. He's not available. So now I can't even determine what exactly is killing the chicken.
Oh my goodness, the chickens that are sick are gonna end up infecting the other chickens that are not sick.
No, I separate them when they're sick. I just remove the ones that I see that they're not okay. I separate them.
Oh, okay. How many have you lost so far?
70.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot. What's your
Mhm.
fatality rate in general?
Pardon?
What's your fatality rate?
It's normally 250.
250 per year or per month?
Like depend, you know, during festive, there's societies that I have to deliver the stock to. So I increase during festive because I have bulk orders.
Yes, but what I'm saying, fatality rate in your chickens per month on a what's
Normally it's between 10, between 10 and 15. It's not much. Just that this time I don't know what's happening.
so it's 10 and 50 out of her. Okay, Salomo, you are not giving me a straight answer here. So what you should be working out is you need to count when you have chickens from the first time when they were small baby chicks up to the time when you said, how many chickens do you lose? Let's just say out of 100.
I lose between 10 and 15.
No, that doesn't help me. That doesn't help me. Let me help you so that you're always gonna know how to calculate it. So you have maybe, let's just say you have 100 chicken in a month, right? But you can't count using a period of a month. You have to count a period from the time you have the chicks up to the time the chickens are ready for selling, right?
Yes.
So how long is that period from the time the chicken are small up to the time when you are selling the chicken? How long is that period?
It's 4 weeks.
4 weeks. Perfect.
Yes.
So what you then need to do on the 4 weeks, you then count how many chickens have died. But you also keep in mind how many chickens do you have at the beginning versus the chicken that you are selling. So the chicken that you had at the beginning, let's say they are 100, and then at the end of the year, of the 4 weeks, you are only left now with how many? Maybe let's say with 95. Okay,
yes.
So how you will then calculate the fatality rate, you will say 5, which means death chicken divided by 100. And that is gonna give you the percentage.
Yes.
Yes, you will multiply obvious by 100. This will give you 5%. So maybe let's make another example. Now, another example will be maybe it was 200 and you end up with 195. So what you will do, you will say 5 divided by 200 multiplied by 100, that will give you a percentage. That is how you calculate a mortality rate of your chickens.
Okay, all right.
It's important for you to have the mortality rate because it tells you whether the chickens that have died, is it a norm or not a norm? I can't take the number that says 70 without knowing the total population. Maybe the 70 out of 1,000 is not the same as 70 out of 100.
All right.
So, and it's also going to help you to see when it's time to consult, when not to consult, because you expect that you expect that the chickens will die. But what you need to understand is that when do I need to do drastic action when it's above this rate or above this percentage?
Okay, so I must make, maybe if they reach 20 and more, that's when I can consult.
No, I can't tell you if they reach 20 or more because I don't have the total population. What's your total population of your chicken?
It's 250.
So the total population is 250 and you've already had 70 dying.
Yes.
So we'll take 70, we'll divide it by 250. Hang on, I'm getting a calculator. Who has a calculator, guys? Denise? I don't have either. I had my phone, but there you go. I've got the phone now. Give me a second. So 70 is a lot in the population of 250, but let's see what's the percentage. So now you have 28%. 28% is way above the mortality rate. But what you have to understand, for your mortality rate when the chickens are small, it's also going to depend at what age are the chickens. So the 70 that has died, how old were they?
They range. There's some for, because I have different clients on different weeks. So they range different, let's say between 2 weeks and 18 weeks.
But you said to me, from the time you have a chick up to the time you're selling is 4 weeks.
Yes.
So why now are you giving me 18 weeks?
No, I'm saying like, oh, it's 4 weeks, yes, but it's different chickens, like different weeks. I what is it? I keep my chicks on different like ages.
Fair enough, but I'm saying you gotta need, then you now know it's 7, it's 28. That is alarming. Your industry is got an average between 5 to 20%. So when you're already way above that. The next question you should be asking yourself is to say, out of this 7, what age group is dying the most?
Normally they don't die. It's just that,
I'm not talking about the normal. I'm talking about the ones that have died now. Which age group were they? And so that you can start seeing the risk of you not achieving what you need to achieve. Do you understand what I mean?
Okay, they were 3 weeks.
All the ones that were died, they were less than 3 weeks.
Yes.
Okay, so which means it's babies, not the chicken. It means that it's not the ready chicken. They were still babies. Salom. Hello? Oh my goodness, did I lose her? Okay, I think I lost her. Okay, guys, maybe, okay, I'm gonna continue because I'm gonna assume she will get the recording. So she has to go back and analyze that if it's less than 3 weeks, and then ask and get one of the chickens to be tested so that she knows the root cause of why she might actually need to take them to a lab to actually get them analyzed. It's almost like you're doing a post-mortem, the way we do it with a human being, to check what caused the chicken to die so that she can solve the problem. Okay. Okay, guys, give me a second. I have Funzo, I have Norman, his hand was up. Tembisa is saying she's not lucky today. Norman is saying there's a bad flu. Okay, so which means then she has to contact the Department of Agriculture. Okay, guys. Okay. Okay, I'm looking at the chat box, guys. Norman, I will take you now.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, I've stopped driving. At least I'm at the office with power outage, so the network is failing me from time to time.
No problem, noted.
Yes, yes. I think for me, in terms of strategy, because the content, as I'm putting it together, it exposes me to my inefficiencies. It is showing me up in terms of where I thought I was solid. Now it's showing me that I really wasn't, and I'm not. That is why my results show. So I've used the information as I thought should be. The one that's giving me, showing me flames is still that the master plan for the HR. I'm looking
Okay.
to populate it, but even the template that is there, I don't know how the calculations are done, because what I prefer to do is to do all the inputs like the training and development, like the UIF and blah, 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 blah. So then I can take that budgeted amount. And then because what my aim to do now is, because I've never really had a complete picture of my business in terms of income and expenses. I've never had it. So I've always worked on the premise of the income that I put on my Excel spreadsheet, plus my expenses, which were never accurate, but they gave me a feel of where I was. Now, when I come to, now we have to do things like register with all of the entities, including the labor department, etc., etc. It makes me even more afraid to look at the bigger picture, simply because I thought personally, previously I thought my markups were good, they were solid, but when I realized all of the expenses now, when they are broken down into their finer details, I have to relook my whole business strategy and to put into place some of the individual budgets, because I've taken it for granted that, you know, you're the person in the business, you know what is coming, what is going, so you've got a good understanding of your cash flow situation. But right now I'm even more confused in terms of, am I really making money or not? Because now when I look at the totality of what should go into my business, and to see after everything is said and done and paid, am I really a going concern or not? At this moment in time, I clearly can tell you right now, I don't think I have the going concern status as yet. And for me, saying it actually is the most empowering thing that I could have said to anyone ever, because I come to the naked truth of where I am, and I'm evolving, I'm developing new things, and I'm evolving, but I'm also not going to hide any of my inefficiencies or the things that I ought to be doing better. So at this moment in time, I'm trying to link everything into, because I've had one budget, and now when I look at it, this thing is inefficient, this thing is never going to take me anywhere, because it does not take into account all of the expenses that the business should take care of. You see, so I have to, and just to comment on in terms of the assignments, I've sent it to all different places. So I'm just collating it now. I will send it to the email address that Denise has sent me. The one that I'm still struggling.
The register, but I think I did specify with her that Norman has already submitted stuff, but then she couldn't collate, she couldn't get it because she was not the right email. But it's not a problem. Please note, we will finish everything by the 31st of January. For now, I just want to work with your pace and everyone's pace, but also making sure that the gaps that I'm picking up, I'm going to share them with you guys here. And then Dennis will then organize a one-on-one with those that need one.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, great.
So I just, before I go,
okay.
I just wanted for you to maybe reflect on some of the issues that I'm fighting to achieve, because for me, I think the way that I've done things and the way that I should do things are far apart. And so I need to go into the discipline of doing the right thing. So if you can reflect and give me a holistic view of the business as it should be, there should be a main budget which it contains your income and expenditure generally. But do I have to have...
Hang on, Norman, you are now talking about the section which is on the earning and also keeping the money. Let's look at strategy first. And then
So the strategy is where I'm coming to, because for me, in developing the strategy, this is the second point that I was coming to, is to say, do I have to have individual strategy? One for HR, one for growth, which is sales, one for probably production, which is the main manufacturing, one for the car users and so on. Do you think that I should have individual strategies for these, or do I have one that I include all elements of those into there?
no, my brother, let me write your question down, and then I will drill down like what I did with the band. Okay. Norman question. Do I need a global strategy or functional strategy? Where do I start?
Yes.
And why? Okay. Perfect, Norman. I got you, my brother. That's number 3 on strategy on questions. It's yours.
Okay.
Human capital, bio Bandla, and then Bandla follow up on it was HR related also. So it's basically we have 2 questions. Thank you.
Yes.
Good.
Thanks.
Thank you. May I take the next person? Who's next? Zanele and Tendo and Joy. Those are my people. Zanele, please come through. Guys, can you be quick? You pause right now. I'm taking questions. You can check in, but just straight, because I think I'm running out of time now. And also the questions should have been sent, guys, way before this session. So just make it short. Zanele, do you have any questions? Tendo, Joy? If not, just type and say no, 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 no. I don't, Bandla, please go ahead.
Okay, hopefully this is my last question.
No, it's fine. But I don't like entertaining your questions because you have not gone through the content, because I bet some of your questions will have been answered by you going through the content.
Okay, let me rather not, but let me respond to that. Don't forget that I've done the strategy with you before. But nonetheless, the question I have is that at first, when I started my business, it was through frustration and through trying to find my best self, basically, so that I can actually do everything that I believe I can do.
Find a balance. You had to find a balance of what you are capable of doing versus what the market needed, right?
Exactly. Actually, I think I can do more. But where I'm going is that as an entrepreneur, especially in our days as a Black entrepreneur, it's not only about money. In fact, maybe let me talk for myself. I'm trying to change the narrative of a Black business person also. Now, the question I want to bring to you is how can we get to a point where we can actually change the business operations being about us or about me, in essence, to a point where we can actually have a dialogue and a discussion, maybe on a national level, especially maybe on a national level, but more than that, on the regional, which is the African region, basically, where we can actually try and change the perspective or the way that we are actually viewed as the people, so that the next generation can actually, to a certain degree, they can start from a norm rather than starting from the pit that we've actually started.
Okay, Bandla, the question you are asking is philosophy. And number 2, it's also politically kind of a question or society problem. I can't answer society challenges and problems because we come from different backgrounds, but also we are experiencing these things, and they are almost like a agglomerate of quite a lot of different factors that are contributing to this. But what I need you to try to do is, whatever problem it is that is society, ask yourself, what can I do about it? And if you feel you can't do anything about it, don't ask the question. If there is something that you think you can do something about, then do that. But make sure what you do is not too much out of your own business. I.e., for myself, for example, I can't always suddenly decide I'm gonna be a manufacturer activist, right? But I can be a financial literacy activist. Do you understand what I mean? On a social issue, because it's aligned to what I do. So that's the only thing that I will just warn against. As for the rest, I can't answer, my brother. It's a difficult one. I think we have battled with quite a lot of things as Black people, but I also know that we have overcome a lot, and maybe our children will not see the fruit of what we have done yet, but they will definitely see the future. The fact that where I am at in my level of understanding of things is better than my mother and my grandmother and everyone before me, there is progress. The fact that you are where you are now, depending where your parents and your where you are, even your siblings, there should be a progress. It's only when there is no progress at our own families and in our own mindset that then we have to be worried. So because we also have to be cognizant that, especially within the South African context, that there is certain markets, or should I say, there's certain LSMs or certain races that have gone way ahead of another population. As a result, that is why most of the time we feel that especially the Black people are actually behind. Some of it, Bandla, is mainly because of our own doing, and some of it is because our beliefs are still aligned to certain type of culture, which does not promote the current environment or coming from the certain environment. And I think I remember running a workshop, and I think you were there, Band, where I was saying my beliefs as a Christian child and also my beliefs around culture, being raised in rural, have been one of the withdrawals on why my business did not accelerate the way it could have been. Because I was taught, Uguchi, Ogwami or Okwako, we are all, if I succeed, you succeed. But when you really come to an industry or in a market where there's a monopoly, where there is capitalist, that type of mindset will not succeed. I was also raised that liking money, you are being greedy, because as a Christian child, even that is hindering me to taking more aggressive and more ventures that are aggressive, but also multi ventures. So I am saying we are progressing. It's just that sometimes the progress is just too low. I hope I'm able to circle that. Does that assist at all, Bandla? I know you like these philosophical questions. So.
I'll accept it. But where I was going, Precious, is that to a certain degree, for example, yourself, you are a voice to be reckoned with in the industry, that is, regardless how small it is. But what I find is that most of us, we spend too much time in maybe comparing and fighting amongst each other, rather than focusing on the problems that we are generally facing on the overall, in essence, so that we can actually resolve or solve the problems that are there, that are hindering everyone to actually succeed.
That is so true. you are right. I think even in the platforms that I've been, I really felt, guys, I remember being in a board meeting in another institution, which was meant to be a non-profit organization, where this sharing of content and working to share what works, what doesn't work, was almost like something that they just didn't pay attention to, or they didn't see it as a value. Guys, one of the biggest companies in the world, Tesla, we all know Tesla, right? Yeah? No?
Yes, we do. I actually follow them quite a lot.
Yes, we all know Tesla. Tesla's IP does not exist. Tesla's business model is not owned by Tesla, is owned by the world, because they have decided to share all their research, all their intellectual property. It's an open source. The challenge we have, Bandla, is that we have people that are developing economy in an environment where they believe and think there's competition. 4 weeks ago, I shared a book with you guys, that The Science of Getting Rich. I hope you guys did listen to that book, because it will then also start helping you to think in a certain way. It was an audio book. We also are in a society where people are building these businesses with a mindset of poverty. As a result, some of these challenges that we have could have been easily been solved and replicated, but they can't be solved because the people that are custodian of this, they are creating what they are creating because of scarcity mindset, because of poverty mindset. So, and I can't change that, nobody can. It's just a system. As we're getting more knowledge and understanding, we'll then make better decisions. Okay, thank you so much for that. Okay, I'm looking here. Tendo say yes. Yes, Tesla by Elon Musk. Yes, yes, Tendo there. Perfect. Okay, guys, let me just move on. Guys, if you feel like you want to share anything or you have questions, just type the questions, because I feel like I'm really running out of time. I had promised Dennis we need to finish at past. So that, yeah, okay. Let me start and show the presentation. Joy Tendo, please put your concern or questions on the chat box. I've lost Lebogang. Ela Lebogang, are you able to talk now? Okay. Okay. Can I confirm also that everyone has actually gone through the material, because other than Mandla, whom he has qualified it, that he has not. So let's forgive him for now and move on to someone else. Have you guys gone through the content?
Hello, which content?
Who's asking which content? Let me have a look. Selby, how could you ask which content? What's the topic for today, sir?
It's what?
Selby, what's the topic for today?
Simplified business strategy feedback.
Okay, that's the content I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about something else. Yeah.
Okay, so did you revise that?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Guys, can I just have a feel of what's going on so that I know where I'm at with this group, and then I know how I'm going to address some of the challenges or questions, or even be able to provide with the content of the feedback. Somebody else, please. Guys, can I have someone else? Selby, please mute yourself.
Sorry for it.
Can I have someone else? Can I have a here or from people on, have they gone through the material?
Candice's hand is up.
Please allow her to go ahead. Go ahead, Tembisa. Tembisa, we're waiting for you.
She is unmuted. I'm not sure why.
Okay, can we take someone else? I want to have a feedback, guys. I want to hear you. This is supposed to me providing the feedback on what has been marked. It assumes you have read the material, you've watched the video, and you've submitted the assignment. But if you have not done any of that, then I'm wondering, why are we here? Guys, does that make sense? Denise, I'm not seeing anything. Remember, I'm not on the chat or on the screen of Zoom. I'm in another screen. Would you please help me?
Okay. Norman, your hand is up.
Yes. In terms of this meeting and the objectives, because for me, I see there's a lot of silence and there's not enough feedback. Is it maybe possible for some of the things that we've asked for you to start dealing with them? Because I had a similar issue the other day when we were sitting in another meeting and there was silence for minutes on top of minutes, and I think it is not okay that we will continue with silence that doesn't make sense. I don't know if we all understand the value of what we are getting now. I think if we come to an understanding of the value and how we tap into wisdom so that you can become more than you were yesterday, for me, that's really important. I may not cope with everything all the time, but I think just to appreciate the quality of the education that we're getting. And for me, that is why, if it's not asking for too much, maybe you can start dwelling on some of the questions we've asked, and it will hopefully enrich all of us at the same time. Because I think to ask people to participate, they haven't read, they don't have any question, it's really just going to waste our time. So without becoming too cocky or anything, if it's okay with you, could we rather focus on some of the feedback that we need? Thank you.
No problem. No, thank you for that. No, I will. It's just that I also want to have a feel as to what is holding them back, because the component, the way the program is designed, it's supposed to have both internal and also external kind of working, but also personal development. But maybe it also means we're gonna need to figure out how to design the program in a different way, because I think people do see a value, but they're just not following through. So that's why we do need to somehow have a feel of what is holding them back, so that even when we report back even to the funders, we do mention, okay, this is the real issue. But when it's not clear, like now, it's not clear. Yeah, I'm really worried about that. Denise, are you able to get anything on the chat box?
There's nothing on the chat, but Tembisa's hand is up again. Does she want to try coming through now?
Okay, let's try her. Tembisa, go ahead. She's still not coming through. Okay, so. That is fine. Okay. Now, guys, let me give you the feedback and then I'll take the questions. Denise, we're gonna finish at 6. So let's just get that out of the window, not at past. I'm gonna just share now the presentation. Norman, I know the training you're talking about. It was the NEF training.
Yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. You're right. Absolutely right. You know what I think for me, because I started my business in June 2014. And since then, I've always tried to apply for funding. I couldn't understand. I was rejected, but I couldn't get why. So I had fights with everybody. I had fights with CEDA. I had fights with NEF. I had fights with everyone, and including CIFA for that matter. But now that I'm going through this rebirth that's going on, it is amazingly painful, because now I reckon and I see why I was rejected so many times. And to a point when I became so frustrated, but I couldn't get why it was as it happened. When I realize now and I look at what I've offered to these people to look at was inadequate. I gave them things that didn't speak their language. I didn't know how to talk to them in their language, because remember here, when a person says, I want to expand, so I need expansion or investment capital, there's a language that people understand in that world. And if you are not part of that world, you don't understand how it works. Better focus on what is happening now. Because for me, that comfortable space that I had, saying that, you know what, I need to, at least I'm not a sharpest pencil, but I'm not a worst pencil. Shame, I've canceled all of that nonsense. I realized that I'm one of my pencil doesn't even write. So I have to relearn, take out all the nonsense that I've had before, and to look at things now for what they are and try and adjust my thinking, which includes staying away from mama politics and listening to radio shows and jive the whole day that doesn't add value to me, but rather to have audio books that will teach my mind to focus on certain things. Number 2 is to look at what I should have done in terms of business, because I wonder why I'm not profitable, and yet I've done nothing towards being profitable. So I'm saying to you that the value of this course has opened my eyes to so many things. And now it's made me even more brave, as much as I'm still limping, but I'm limping into a direction where I'll be fine. I just need to carry on and make sure that I do my best to focus and to stay focused on what we are being taught, because it's very important, really very important.
Ngiyabonga, Norman. No, that is fine. I'm gonna start now. It's just that I'm opening up this. I've opened up a document, but it's Let me share. Tembisa, your hand is up, but we still can't hear you.
Okay, I see she's typed a message. She says, I wanted to find out if I was on the right track or not by reading through the update I've tabled on the platform.
Okay, I will check the update, Denise. Let me go through this. Let's take the feedback that we have given. Guys, get your note pad, and then I'm gonna go through this pretty fast. All of you do have this presentation, right? Let me just make it a presentation. All of you have this presentation, right? And those that are saying no, I did share a link where my share slides are. Norman, can you confirm, Tembisa, guys? Confirm if you have the slide.
I do.
Perfect. So the learning objectives for this, if I go too fast for you on this, please go to the recording. I just wanted to emphasize what I picked up on when I was marking your content, your assignment, right? Okay. So what was very clear is that you guys have done quite a lot of time and effort in working through some of this. However, the vision and the mission and the core values, to some of you, it was very, it was too detailed, it was very long, right? It was not kept simple. It was not kept simple. And as a result, you had lots of words, big words. I think Isingisi also just was like, you didn't also keep to the very few. I think we usually say between 4 and 6 for your core values. Don't go beyond that. And that is important because you don't want to have values that are so many that how you live and breathe and build up your business culture, that it actually end up being too much to monitor and manage and make sure that it is difficult to believe or interlinked to believing, but also to your customer service. Now, what we also picked up on the assignment was that when you are conducting the industry sector, it's really kind of was like, it was not deep enough to identify the low-hanging fruit. So I will make an example. There are some of you who are entering into markets which are new markets. So which means it's the product or the things that you're doing are in the trends, but you are not taking, what do I have in the next 12 months? What do I have that can help me to achieve the things that I want to do? Your dreams and the goals are so big. Some of you are talking about, I will have achieved 18 million. But then when I look at how much are you generating now, you're generating like 0. Okay, what is the strategy that will drive your business to a point of 18 million? And I analyze your strategies. They are not measurable, they're not tangible. I mean, there's a whole list of things I can count on that. So I need you to say, what do I have? I think also what we are doing in our businesses, we have a tendency of just saying, okay, I'm running my business and these are my strategies, but we are not looking at what do I have access of right now. We are more focusing on what I don't have. Most of you on your strategies, you are focusing on what you do not have. Focus on what you have. And I think the other part that was quite disheartening was that I think I'm gonna just was you guys not really making sure what you are doing is measurable. So it's measurable in terms of it's quantifiable. So, and this is some of the examples I made on the notebook. This is some of the things that I think you need to consider. Some of you did put quite a bit on financial performance in terms of these things. However, the stuff that you put on financial performance did not talk to what you have on your organizational capacity, which is learning and growth. Oh, sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. I got muted. Can you tell me when did you lose me? Guys, hello? Is anyone?
I lost you for a second.
Oh, it was just for a second. Okay. So what I was saying is that most of you did put the on finances, but you will say 50% growth, 50% growth, for example, which means you also have not read the book. In the Essential Financing book, where I wrote it, and you guys have an audio, I specified that try to stay away from gross profit margins because they're an outcome of revenue less cost of sales. Maybe start with the cost of with the revenue first as the top line and say how much am I going to be able to sell, and then build that in. Some of you did not take your assignment that you did on financial goals and brought it into the strategy as your goal. So you gotta need to understand there is a link. Okay, I think the rest I'm gonna just so most of you did have this in some of your assignment, but some of you did not even use this template. This template was given to all of you and to guide you, to show you how this is supposed to link. What you have to understand is that the organizational capacity is the anchor, is everything you're gonna actually need to build your business. Most of you are thinking, no, it's finances that start. No, it's an organizational capacity. So what you're gonna need to say is that if I wanna increase my business to now generate ×2 of the revenue that it's generate now, what skills do I need to have? What knowledge do I need to have? What technology am I gonna need to have in my business? And also, what value chain will I need to establish? Because that talks to what? To the organization capacity. That is what we call learning and growth. What was also missing, I think some of you did identify the skills, but you then did not specify how would you achieve that. For example, what I would have expected, you should have identified causes that will help you to have that skill. When it comes to a knowledge, I would have expected you identifying a subject expert in your industry or someone who's going to help you, who knows though your industry knowledge. And I also saw that you will say improving of technology, but you are not being specific. What exactly are you going to be improving in technology so that I can be able to see, is that going to work to help you to achieve the goal, but how big it is. You also were using some of the percentages, which were 90% efficiency on it. You can't have a 90% efficiency when you are starting from zero. What you have to understand is that if you are saying, I'm gonna have introduced new technology, because if you didn't have it before, you can't improve it. You should then say, okay, I will identify the technology that I need to build up my growth and my capacity. I will, and this technology, I will identify maybe 2 apps or 1 app or software or whatever, or I will identify a solution that already exists that will solve this problem. But you can't do that. You can't develop an organizational capacity analysis when you were not transparent in this. In the SWOT, when you're not transparent in saying, what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, what are my opportunities, when you're fooling yourself about what's happening with the 5 forces, the competition analysis that you should have done, and also you have taken time to understand the impact of pastel. So, and some of you have answered the questions, but they have not answered the question in terms of their business and their capacity. Let me just stop here, and then I will go to another slide while I'm taking the questions on that overview feedback. There's someone who's Salom, let me mute her. Can I then take people based on what I've just provided as feedback? Is anyone who has a question? I'm gonna share another slide just now. I just want to take questions on what I have just shared now.
All right, precious Norman. Yeah, I just wanted to, on reflection of what you've just said, because I'm trying to internalize this and to see in terms of my own business, in terms of my own way forward, because for me, I'm already in 2022. This document, what is the nature of this document going to be? Is it the one that you create and shelve it? Is it the one that you create and use every day or every week or as commonly as possible? What is the intention with this document? Because for me, I'm trying to build my business structures in play and put them in place. So then I've got one for operations, I've got one for processes and so on. So I also want to minimize creating a volume that will take a day to read. So how do you suggest I go through this thing? Or where is the learning in everything that you say that a person can apply, but not apply for somebody to look, but something that you can use on a regular basis and go through to obviously update as much as things change. Thank you.
So, okay. Okay, so, Norman, I think I'm gonna say what I use this document personally, and you decide where you use it or when you use it, okay? I use the one-pager strategy as my month-to-month document, but it's a document that I see every day in my business, so that I do not get to be thinking at operational level all the time. And it's a document that I use on monthly basis to check my targets that I have set up, but it's always on my face. What you have to understand, this is the document that should be your guiding. It's like it's all that your business is about, because it's a strategic document. It's supposed to be mapping up your plans from now to the next 5-10 years. And that is why this document is important. This document, though, it has been built up from certain processes that you would have done to get to where you are in this one page. And that is what I'm now gonna also share. Let me share again another document.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for one thing, that because I was concerned that if I do too many exercises, but I cannot get it into one place for understanding's sake. So the one pager is ultimately what everything else comes into. So I see the revenue stream and the breakdown of the revenue. I see the elements of the SWOT analysis is in one place. Now I see the value of the one page. Thank you.
Okay, so I think, okay, so I'm gonna cover with you guys I've already given you feedback that some of you, for the table of content today, vision and mission and core, personal SWOT, canvas goals, one-page strategy, implementation and accountability, and a realistic approach. So that is what we're discussing. I did ask you guys for a feedback in terms of complexity, and also just to find out, is it solving your problem in terms of relevance, but is it also helping you to have a clarity? Because I think my objective for you to go through a strategy is to have a clarity of how you're gonna grow your business. And I am struggling as I'm going through the assignment. I am picking up, people are still not clear. People are still just thinking this is cut and paste. This is, whereas it's not cut and paste. So that is my general feedback. I'm not too sure, I'm suspecting that some of you, because it's the first time, it feels like it's theory, but some of you have it, they understand it. Is it because of that, or is it just the content, absorbing the content is too complex? That feedback, I need it from you guys. Maybe type it on the chat box, we'll go through it when we finish. So I also need to find out those who are struggling with the content or unable to submit, what support do you need? There was a suggestion by another entrepreneur, said, Precious, maybe every week until we're finished, every week touch base with us. I didn't cost that because I didn't think you guys need such a close supervision, but I do want to hear your suggestions. Please send us the suggestion even on the chat box, or share with us now. What support do you need? Some of you have already requested a private session, and we are gonna make time for that. But what else do you need? Because I'm really struggling. I need you guys to get it. And I'm promising you this, once you get it now, I do not care how big your business will grow. I do not care where you want as your exit strategy in your business. I promise you, no matter which industry you go to, no matter which sector, whether it's public or private sector or NPO, if you get these principles, you will never feel uncomfortable in any boardroom. And that's a guarantee I'm here to provide to you guys. That's all I can provide to you right now. And I do see some of you really playing a critical role in different industries. And I am so excited that I have introduced this. So wherever way you will go, whichever boardroom you will be in, you will always be thinking of me. And I'm excited about that. Okay, so vision, mission, and a vision. Keep it simple. Keep it short. Remember, a vision is a destination, is when things are the way you envisage, the way you see them work out, right? Destiny, a better place. So just remember that. So in your vision, you have to take your customer, your employees, your industry to see a better new future. That's your vision. Whereas your mission is basically very much of how are we going to achieve the vision? And the mission is about inspiring us. It's about what's going to drive us. It's going to be about what are the things that every day we're going to work towards in order to achieve that vision, because the vision is generally a very long term. You do expect the mission to change every 5 years because of how the business is positioning itself, but also using the technology to accelerate its work and the thing that it does. But in generally, in on-campus, it doesn't change too much, but it does change if your business model is changing, but also if your target market has changed. So core values, I didn't see a lot of entrepreneurs spending time on core values. And most of you struggle with this because you struggle with culture. So let's look at Bandla, who wanna scale his business. He's gonna struggle with it because he has not set up the core values. The core values are your foundation of your culture. They help you to set up the customer service standards, but also be able to measure it. They also help you to set up the code of conduct for your employees, your board members, and your partners. So I really need you guys to really look at this, understand core values is the stuff that you will die for. Core values is what you will not negotiate. Let me take questions on what I've just covered now. No questions, Denise, should I go ahead then?
Yes, you can go ahead. There's nothing.
Okay, Tendo raised his hand.
Okay,
Please,
Tendo,
Tendo, go ahead.
Hello.
Hi, sister.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, my question. I'm having a problem with access to material, or rather assignment number 3. So I don't even know like what to do.
Tendo,
That's why I couldn't
this is
write
the
the
wrong
assignment.
platform. Tendo, this is the wrong platform to address that. Denise has just shared on the chat box the link where there's a hard drive. Please download that Google Drive where all the material is at, but we also have loaded the stuff from Fresh LSM. May I not deal with admin issues? Admin issues should have been dealt with on a WhatsApp group.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Can I take the questions relating to what I've just spoken about here? Guys, is it all clear to everyone? Okay, I'm moving on then. Now, you then have to understand you are now in this block where you are doing pastel, you are doing SWOT analysis. And you're also gonna need to do Porter's 5 influences. What you have to, excuse me, you have to understand is that pastel leading to Porter 5 forces. It's really about, it leads to you working out the best business model that is profitable, that is helping you to accelerate your growth, that is helping you to structure how your business will actually run. So most of you did answer. I remember reading, I think it was Lulama. Yes, she put quite a lot of effort in the SWOT analysis. But in there, she's putting stories, then putting them in the context of what does that mean in how I structure my business model? What does that mean in terms of how then do I proceed in growing my business? So what you need to do, it's almost like you're gonna need to ask yourself, I've done the pastel, I've done the SWOT analysis, but what is important? So remember, pastel is very much focused on external factors, right? And then Porter's 5 forces is focusing very much on the market, but covering both externally and internal forces. Whereas the SWOT is also covering both internal and external. But you're gonna need to take what is sitting here on your pastel, pick up if it's positive or negative, and also in here, pick up on Porter what is negative and positive, and classify it on your SWOT analysis. Classify it on your SWOT analysis. Is it a strength? Is it a weakness? Is it a threat? Is it an opportunity? And in the material on the book, I did explain how do you see if something is a strength? How do you see if something is a weakness? How do you see if something is an opportunity? and a threat. I did explain that. And if you're not sure, you can also even just Google that and then maybe find someone else to explain it in a different way. I also on the book said, when you have done your SWOT, you gotta need to update your company profile based on your strength. You will also need to take your opportunities and analyze the opportunity, because on the opportunities, that is where you're gonna do the strategy. The strategy that you are creating as that one page, it comes from these opportunities. The low hanging fruit is the opportunities that you have identified. Whereas the weaknesses that you have picked up, are actually gonna be what you are harmful into the business, and you're gonna keep them where in your risk management, so that, and also your personal development. And then the threats, they are also harmful into the business, but you can look at the threats. Sometimes the threats are not necessarily just internally, they're also part of the things we're doing in the business. So try to see what can you do in your industry that will manage the threat so that it doesn't end up being a risk that comes through and actually stop you to operate. So what was very clear though, was that as I was going through this, that this concept and then the usage of this has not come through in understanding how to assess the market. Access to market. I think I did a typo. There's a typo here. Let me just fix this. Give me a second. So what I picked up when I was going through this was access to market. Access to market was really weak on the strategy, the actual document strategy. And as a result, whatever that you are doing is just pie in the sky. You had not done, you don't understand the industry enough to see what is the right growth percentage. Because if you are saying to me, Precious, I'm gonna grow by 20%, but your industry is actually reducing, you are not reading what is happening in your industry. It was very clear also that some of you have not taken time to understand what's happening in the market. There's a difference between industry and the market. You see, when I'm looking at the market, I'm looking at the buyers and the sellers of that specific commodity or that product or that service. I also saw that some of you have not conducted a product research to the ideas. You have an idea of what you want to do, but you have not educated yourself about the product that you are offering to a point that you somehow now have worked out a clear features and benefits, so that when you then go to the market, you know exactly what is attractive to the customer, what is not attractive to the customer. And I think this one, it was a disappointing one for me, because it then made me feel it doesn't matter what ideas you guys have, those ideas are meaningless, because you will not be able to position your product properly. You could have the best product in the world, but if you have not done enough to know how you're gonna position it, it's like, I don't know. I usually make this example. You see, McDonald's is a listed company. They sell burgers. It's crappy food, like really crappy food. But what exactly is McDonald's then really selling? When you start analyzing the business model, you get to understand that more than anything, what they sell is the brand. What they sell is the consistency. So, which means even if I go to China, they will have the exact McMeal, and they will have also a cultural McMeal, which is gonna be sweet and sour or something based on that region. Like in South Africa, we have a boerewors kind of. So they have somehow change a bit to adopt to the local environment. But I promise when I go to China and say McMill, I will get exactly the same taste as a McMill I will buy when I'm in New York. And that is what I mean about saying when you really start to understand the business of McDonald's is consistent. I know exactly what I'm gonna get, and I know exactly how it's gonna taste like. So then when I'm traveling, I would be their customer because I understand their brand. But I'm saying you're gonna need to ask yourself, as you're building yourself, what is your positioning, but how does that position talk to the product research that you will have done? I will share some of the links with you guys afterwards. I think for now, I've done quite a bit of research on how to conduct a product research. I'm not there yet. I will share some of the things with you guys at a later stage. But I want you to understand that maybe this you can list as one of the things that you can put in your internal processes or in your customer side of your strategy, that conduct a detailed product research, because it means also when you have not done a detailed product research, it also means you could be offering something that the market does not want. Entry to the market. Most of you are not clear what the industry wants and how it wants what it wants. As a result, you are everywhere. I think one of the guys, let me just have a look at the picture. I'm not gonna say who in terms of the name, but I'm gonna just give you maybe a heads up of specific examples. So I'm gonna share a screen. I'm gonna share, guys, are you on your WhatsApp or are you using this also as a Zoom? I can't share this. You know what I've just realized? Some of the pictures, they do have companies. Yeah, some of the pictures, they do have companies. So I'm gonna need to edit the pictures I've taken to take away companies so that I can show you the examples of what I'm talking about when it comes to what you guys have done on the assignment. I was so impressed though by Smangele's vision. I was so impressed by Detail Lulama. I was so impressed by Dakola's approach. I was impressed by, there was someone else. There was someone else whom had a great vision. And yeah, I think there was a person who was, her company is, let me take the name, WMS Trading. Oh, the vision was amazing. Also the simplicity of how she approached, but I will give a direct feedback of the negatives that I've put in, or of the things that I've put in that will make her stuff to work. Okay. Okay, guys, so what do you need to do to have access to market? You're gonna need to have a custom. Make sure that customer, which is a customer profile, is someone who buys from you all the time. If it's someone who doesn't buy from you all the time, but because of the nature of the product, make sure you can upsell. If you're not sure about a customer profile, or you have never done one before, start seeing what possible you can do on customer survey, because the customer survey is shorter than a customer profile, maybe to allow you to segment the market, because you see, you might find yourself, you're in a market where you have not even segmented the market. As a result, then customer survey will allow you to segment the market. And then, especially for those who already got customers, I also need you to really test your product and the understanding of what is happening in terms of supply and demand. Because the supply and demand determines the price. If there is more supply of something, the price will go down. If there's more demand of that thing and the supply is going down, then the price will go up. So I need you to really be very clear of your supply and demand. Don't be afraid of going to new markets where that thing that you are creating is your first. Don't be afraid to go to industries that do not exist yet. You can, these days, you can even design products and solutions that are not even, your customers are not even in South Africa. Okay, trends. Guys, you are not watching the trends. You don't even understand how to deal with the trends. And I'm just, yeah. I'm really disappointed, because what you have to understand, before COVID, if you were making money, there's a chance that post-COVID you won't make money. If you are making money now during COVID, there's a chance that you won't make money post-COVID. If you are not making money before or during, there's a chance for you also to come up with solutions that will work post-COVID. So I really needed to understand what are the needs and how those needs are being fulfilled. But I also want to say, if you're afraid of going on something that is out of your comfort zone, or you're afraid of taking something that is relating to trends because you think maybe that thing will go out of fashion, solve your own problem. Solve your own problem. So create a product and service that solve your problem. Test the market. Some of your ideas have not been tested. And test the market by your 5 people that you know that have that problem that you want to solve. Some of you are not pricing for profitability. This is coming from your financial goals. You're pricing for survivor. Some of you are not even pricing. Your financial goal does not even talk to the strategy in terms of your financial perspective on the first layer of the document on page 1. You have to understand the difference between branding and positioning, so that you understand that if you have positioned your product as a luxury product, it has to look as a luxury, but it also means the price must fit that luxury brand. So branding and positioning and pricing is very related. I think this is the first draft. I'm grateful you have made attempt. Talk to your team, talk to different people. Look at the model, business models. I've given you a website that has more than 1,000, I think it's 2,500 examples of different models in different sectors. For those who will finish this course and graduate, I am gonna give you the access to that software, so that it's gonna help you. And that access to that software, I will see whether I'm gonna give you that access for 30 days or 90 days, so that I can have other entrepreneurs to enroll. But it's your first draft. Don't take my negative feedback as a bad thing. Take it as a positive, because I'm an auditor. I'm always gonna look for things that are not there. It's a start. You have done a great start. Some of you have amazing vision, short and crisp and very clear. So already you can pick up what values that should be in place. And I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much. Go in more detail, guys, on using your business model and keep on swapping it. And I'm using this one, which has a post-it, because I think when I did my first business canvas, I didn't do it on, I printed quite a lot of examples and stuff or template and completed them, right? I realized it's a wrong way of doing it. The best way of doing it is to print it on an A4 page, the canvas, and use post-its. yellow post-it and color code your post-it. So have post-it that focus on this section, which is key partners, key activities, and key resources. So there, just have a same color. Value proposition, one color. Customer relations and customer segment and channel, have those on a different color. And then cost structure and cost and revenue, that is now different colors, both of those. So why would you want to have them in different colors? So that you can see what you are changing and how you're going to change them, but also so that you can see that when you are doing it, what does that mean? Because you see, when you are doing it and you're not doing it together, you will have things that are missing. That is why when I did a presentation, the first presentation, I said, the canvas is 3 phases, and these are the phases, and I provided you guys with that guide. If you need additional support, let me know. But just keep on working on it. It's supposed to change as you get to understand your industry more. That is why you're going to remove that post-it and put another one as you are understanding things, as you are testing things and working things. I remember when I started, I used to have quite a lot of key partners, but now over years I've reduced it. And why? Because of the attraction, but also of my position, but also of what I wanted to achieve. So yeah. And then, as I said, I think I don't want to repeat this again. Some of you have the one pager that is not smart. Consider having both inputs and outputs. So some of you have said, I want a revenue of 18 million or for 5 million. That is an outcome. That's an output. Maybe consider saying, I will make 30 phone calls. Consider inputs also. When it comes to customer, how am I going to do customer acquisition? Be very clear how you're going to do a customer acquisition. Some of you has a strategy or themes of customer acquisition, but you don't have specific of what is it that you're going to do to achieve that customer acquisition. So instead, you've just said, I'm going to have this number of customers. No, that means nothing. Customer acquisition has to have, how many are you going to do? How many are you going to attract in terms of awareness? Just think of your business sales funnel. I think I've covered that in other courses. If you need more support or understanding of how business funnel works, but I'm talking about sales. You're going to need to understand what's the journey of your customer. So just work through that. And thank you so much, guys. Lots of love. I will take the questions. Okay, guys, are there any questions? Do you understand? I've given you overall feedback. I am now gonna take Bandla's question and Norman's question. Is any other question that's on the content that I've just tabled? Okay, let me then proceed. I will start with the easy one. The easy one is Norman's question. Norman's question was, do I need to have a global strategy or do I need to have functional strategy? Where do I start and why? Norman, do you still have that question?
Yes, I'm still with you.
Do you still have that question after I have discussed some of the things with you?
No. You see, for me, because in terms of my how I place myself into the role of strategic management is to see if I should have differences applying for different or if I should have the holistic one that takes into account all of it. But I'm just concerned that if you have one, it could turn into volumes of work. So because for me, I want to have a executive strategy. From the executive strategy, then I want to break it into management or implementing strategy. So I want to look at that whole framework of from executive where the ideas are developed, but then implementation strategy for what should be in place and how many of what you need so to succeed. So then when you go back and you want to audit your system to see if your revenue comes
No, man, no,
from,
no, you are taking too long. Let me cut you there.
All
So
right.
the question that I'm asking, you still have not answered. Having
Okay.
explained how you got to this, how you got to this one page, which is an assignment, how
Yes.
you got into this one page, do you think you do not need this? Do you think you need a functional?
No. From the explanation, I think if and this is my understanding and my take on this, is to say once you've taken the work and you've put them and you've developed a one pager, but not left anything out, because as you mentioned, some work is incoherent with some. If you want to claim income of 30 million, but your sales strategy doesn't show how you're going to achieve this, which areas you're going to implement, and so on and so on, what it is that you're going to do. I get that point. So I think I need to rethink my position, and probably the one page, I need to refocus my energy on the one page and to see how it has come about, so that I can, I think the one page as an essential one will help me, but to get it to be a living document is probably where I need to refocus my energy again.
Okay, perfect. I think you are on the right track. I needed to put you on the spot there so that I can see where you are. You need this one pager, because this one pager is a map of where you are going.
Yes.
This is when you're employing anyone who is at a management level, they should have this as part of their orientation.
Yes.
This, when you're having a new partner that you are bringing on board, this is what you should be giving. This is at executive level. This is now making you to be a director.
Yes.
Now, not a manager, a director. Now, within this, there is functions. And these functions are right here, guys. These functions are right here. Now they are running away. Hang on. Yes, there we go. These now are functions. Plus or minus 15 functions. Your question is saying, Precious, do I need to develop a strategy for each of these functions? Okay. Whereas what you have to understand about functions, they are responding to this. This gives direction. It gives direction because you have analyzed the industry. You have analyzed the needs of the customer. You have analyzed the things that you are strong at, the things that you are weak at, the things that are low-hanging fruits. This directs you because you have looked at that environment and then mapped that what will make your business to work, which is your canvas. And what you have to have a clear understanding is that these strategic objectives must be measurable. So, and what you have to understand is that we have about 15 functions, but those functions are already embedded on here. Let me show you an example. Organizational capacity, right? Which is also called learning and growth. If you have identified in here on your SWOT that one of your weaknesses, you don't have a skill, a certain skill that is core to your business, right? You then take that, you will put that under your organization and you will say, improve knowledge and skill. Now you're gonna specify which skill is that, right? So when you say improve knowledge and skill, your measure is gonna be saying register courses or courses, da-da-da. Or if it's a big business, you will say employee development plans. Why? Because you will already know which employee needs to attend which courses. And then it targets 100% attendance. That measures what? Development plans, right? Or you can say development plans are being achieved within 6 months. You can put even timelines. You don't need to pay percentage. And then the notes and project will specify maybe the causes, or the notes could say it's only executive, or it's only manager, or is it only the sales team. Depending on when you did your skills audit, your qualification, your experience, the personalities and the talent, and then you looked at where your skills you need, but also based on your strength and your weaknesses and opportunities and the threats, right? And then leading you to this. So you are not creating a separate strategy as such, but what you are doing, you are implementing. So when you start in your HR, for example, you will say the strategic objectives at the organization is to improve knowledge and skills. The subset within this HR function is that we're gonna then implement this. We have identified competencies, we have identified the knowledge that is required, we have identified the experiences, we have profiles, basically. We have this is what we have identified that we need, and this is the plan on how we're gonna do it. So let's look at another example. Do you have another example that you would like to share?
Just on this very one that you are speaking of, I was just thinking of something. When your business is in transition from one level to a next level, do you change your document?
What do you think?
Live in the future and say, and yet it's not a reality of the planning and documentation. Do you do that in terms of your future outlook, the next 6 months, or do you say, what I'm at today is this, and as you mentioned, then I can put in the next 6 months, my growth would be 1, 2, and 3 in all the areas?
No, I think you're still missing me, Norman. A strategy document, what did I say it cover, which period?
Just repeat, I didn't get you.
I said a strategy document, what period should it be covering?
I think for me, my strategy is from 21, 22.
No, I'm not saying mention the years. I'm saying mention the actual years. I'm saying, what did I say the strategy is meant to cover? Which the number of period?
You know what, I'm driving and I'm losing you by the network.
Can someone answer that for me on the group, please? The strategy, how long should it be covering? A strategy, guys, is looking at 5 to 10 years. It can even be from 3 years to 5 years to 10 years. You can have this page for 3 years and have another one for, so, but as things change, the strategy is a long term. This is not necessarily a business plan. A strategy is for long term. So you can't therefore ask a question of saying that where the business is. The strategy does not look just on where the business is. It does in development, but that is aimed to then map up the future. This is what your map, your growth map looks like, basically. I hope that assists you, Norman. So you see, when you are doing your analysis of the skills, Pestel, Porter, you are looking at what it is. From what it is, you then come up and say, based on the opportunities that I'm exposed to and my network and my knowledge, and this is what I'm gonna do. And this is what you're gonna do here. Okay. Obviously, you then take that and build it up. So you then set up a systems and processes to break it down and monitor it, both internal and external. And it must actually make sense, right, guys? It must make sense. Can I then take the next question, Bandla? I'm gonna move to your question. I've covered Norman. So Bandla, your question is saying, your growth strategy right now, we are looking at the human capital budget. You are having a hesitant because you don't want to affect your cash flow. So my suggestion is that you gotta need to do some sort of a background check. A background check in analyzing and understanding why people are leaving your company, but also you're gonna need also to see what systems do you have in place to deal with timekeeping and also absenteeism. My suggestion for you, Bandla, you need to come up with a technician app. A technician app you don't need to buy, you can buy the one off shelf, you don't need to develop, you can buy an off shelf one. Pay your technician according to the work. Build up a QMS. You can't promise the clients a quality and then you don't have a QMS. If you, in your brand positioning or even on your values, you have mentioned quality, you must therefore make sure you put systems that make sure they deal with people who do not pay attention to quality. I think the issue of absenteeism, absent without leave or absconding, is really because you don't have supervisory controls. You don't need to have a supervisory controls in your business when you're starting up, but what you need to have is a proper accountability. And it's difficult sometimes with working in satellite and remote. That is why the technician app is actually gonna help. So what you do with the technician app is basically they log in the work, they do the reporting on the app, and they do all the stuff, including invoicing, getting the customer to sign. I'm giving you this suggestion without knowing what your business entails. If you need further guidance, maybe just set up the time with Denise, then I will be able to assist you more. You have to know also what your staff turnover is as a company, but also the staff turnover of the industry. And because you can't solve industry problem, but you can solve your company problem. And you can't go beyond what the industry already provide. You also need to think very hard as to how do you get your technicians. You might actually have to create maybe different layers, the interns, the technician, junior technician, senior, supervisor, manager. So create different levels. Work with your CETA to find out what funding they can provide and what about graduate, unemployed graduate. They will give you money. You might need to subsidize some of it, but they provide you with funding for that. Professional body will assist you to know what are the pricing in terms of rates, but also in terms of the salaries that you can offer for people based on their skill set and their experience, so that you can start offering market-related salaries. If you cannot offer market-related salaries, you do need to come up with a clear retention and succession planning on how you will do that so that you are able to retain these people. But you also need to consider having people to actually be vested in the business and also into the project. You can have a project sharing arrangement or company sharing profit per year, whichever that you feel most comfortable with. But you gotta need to really think about what are the retention strategies that can work for your industry. But such cannot work outside of what happens in your industry. You then have to understand what are the things you might also need to consult with the HR specialist in your own industry to assist you to come up with these ideas. And the next question also was, I will really say to you, your problem, Bandla, is also productivity. You see, when someone is experiencing absenteeism without leave, or people timekeeping, or people being late, you are unable to monitor productivity. Focus on measuring productivity. Figure out what's your productivity, acceptable productivity percentage, and put that as your KPI. And if the person does not meet that KPI, you should be able to have processes in place to be able to not pay the person the full salary. Bandla, I hope that has helped you to deal with those matters. And if you need further support, let me know. Okay, my brother, you like hearing me. This is not the first time we are running this program with you. I think you're getting refreshers. Okay, guys, thank you. I will take any other questions, guys. Lulama. Ooh, Lulama, your line is so bad, my dear. My suggestion, type your question on the chat. Your line is quite bad.
Okay.
I think you're the network. Type it maybe on the chat, or type it on a WhatsApp. Then I can address it maybe later. Guys, is anything else? Smile, your work was amazing. Thank you so much. Yes, I love your vision, but I will have a session with you to give you a detailed feedback because you did provide, submit the rest of the materials, so that when I give you the feedback, I'm giving you the feedback for both strategy, earning and keeping the money, okay? Everyone, guys, those who have submitted, submit the rest of everything so that when we're having a one-on-one, I have gone through everything. Thank you so much. Lulama has not managed to type the question on the chat box. Then I will wait for it on a WhatsApp. Guys, I've taken longer than I should have. Thank you so much, though, for being here and sticking with it. I'm excited. I'm happy. Joy, I have not seen your work. I hope I will see it. Lebogang, I have not seen. If you are struggling or you sent to the wrong email, Dennis did share the right email. Please just forward the emails. Thank you so much, guys. There seems to be no question. Yes, Lulama, thank you so much, my dear. You have up till the 31st of January to get all these things. And I think you are gonna get it, guys. Don't stress. I mean, I remember my first class in the strategy, you know, so don't stress. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Lots of love. God bless you. Bye.
Thank you. Good night.